This is the all-new heavy-duty Rock Jock steering stabilizer tie rod clamp. And while it was made to be an upgrade for their Currectlync steering system, it will work with any 38 to 42 millimeter tie rod. Forged out of 4130 chromoly and finished in a gloss black powder coat. As you can see, it comes with all the hardware necessary to install it. And maybe more importantly, is that it can be installed in a myriad of different configurations to accommodate your specific needs. For example, it can be installed with the steering stabilizer bolt on top of the flange, or below it, or on the inside pointing up or down. And if needed, you can always place the jam nut on the other side of the flange as well. And of course, it can always be rotated on the tie rod itself for optimal positioning. Fortunately, installing this clamp is super easy to do, can be done in just minutes and using basic tools. And to get started, I'm going to jack up the front end of my Jeep from the axle and set it on a pair of jack stands. This will help make it a lot easier to check for clearances and make adjustments as needed. But before I remove anything, I'm going to first take a measurement of my steering stabilizer just to have a good idea of where the new clamp needs to be installed on the tie rod. And this is especially helpful if you're installing an aftermarket steering stabilizer that's pressurized. Okay. Looks like I'm looking at 17 5/8. Perfect. All right, now using a 19 millimeter socket and wrench, I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolt securing the steering stabilizer to the existing clamp. Okay. And now using a 13 millimeter socket and wrench, I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolt securing the clamp to the tie rod. As you can see here, I'm still running a factory steering stabilizer. And because it's a passive shock, this as opposed to a pressurized one like a lot of aftermarket ones are these days, the end of it is still in the exact same location that it was when it was bolted onto the tie rod. In other words, I should be able to install the new Rock Jock clamp in the exact same position and call it a day. All right, so now I'm gonna need to figure out what's gonna be the best way to install this clamp and give me the most clearance, make everything work well. I'm thinking maybe like this, where the mounting flanges is up on top and with the bolt coming down. So kind of like that. So then I'll need to insert this bolt up and through. Go up on top, like so. First, put on the jam nut, just loosely for now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start securing it to the tie rod by threading in the lower bolt first. Get on these upper bolts now. Okay, I just need to check to make sure that the steering stabilizer is relatively parallel to the tie rod. And then I'm going to go ahead and snug on, but not fully tighten all these bolts. And for that, I'll be using a 1/4 inch Allen bit. All right, now what I need to do is double check to make sure that the steering stabilizer won't make contact with the differential or bottom out when I'm at a full steer to the left or right. All right, looks like we're just clearing a differential, just like before. and full passenger on the steer stop. Looks like we're not bottoming out. Perfect. Okay, now I can go through and tighten up all the bolts on the clamp in a circular pattern and making sure that the two halves of the clamp pull in evenly. Okay, now I'm going to use a torque wrench set to 24 foot-pounds of torque and tighten them on. All right. And to finish things up, I'm going to zip on the steering stabilizer bolt using an 18mm socket and wrench. All right, now I can set my torque wrench to 85 foot-pounds of torque and tighten up the jam nut. Okay. And just like that, our Gladiator now has a heavy-duty steering stabilizer clamp that can totally take the abuse should it ever make contact with the rocks. I should note that depending on how you choose to install your steering stabilizer clamp, Rock Jock does recommend that you do another check at a full flex and to make sure that nothing is interfering or making contact at a full turn to the left or right. Obviously, additional adjustments should be made as needed. I hope you found this video to be helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments section. And if you're not already a member, we would love for you to join us on our online community at wayalife.com. Until next time, keep the shiny side up, all four on the floor, and with any luck, we'll see you on the trail. I think you lost it.